Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It's now time for the final part of today's action, and we are here for race 1 of IFMC GP3. And if you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday, it was quite a dominant qualifying, it should be said, from Ferdinand Habsburg. He managed to grab pole position in the Auto Jamaica car, cutting the gap between himself and Josef Newgarden to just 3 points now as a result, with Robert Kubica splitting the two championship rivals, and of course Josef Newgarden in third position. We've got 11 laps of action here for race 1, so hopefully it should be a good race. So before we start then guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for race 1 here at Hockenheim. Here we go then, so on pole position it's Ferdinand Habsburg with Robert Kubica in second, Josef Newgarden lines up in third with Alexander Rossi in fourth, Will Power starts in fifth with Lucas Di Grassi in sixth, Antoine Hubert, best qualifying position of his career, in 7th with Daniil Kvyat in 8th. Sébastien Buemi is in 9th with Daniil in 10th position. 11th goes to Michael Elation. 12th goes to the one-off Oliver Rowland, stepping in for Jenson Button, who's doing top-class duties this weekend. Felipe Nasr is in 13th with Marco Andretti in 14th position. Jack Aitken is in 15th with Santina Ferrucci in 16th position. 17th goes to Nico Kari and 18th goes to Kyle Kaiser. Then we go on to row 10. It's 19th for Anthony Davidson, 20th for Nick Heifeld. Very disappointed indeed. And on the back row of the grid, it's Eero Vainio and Antonio Fuoco. And that is the grid for race 1 here at Hockenheim. So there is the grid then guys for race 1, and the weather of course being bright and sunny, so leave your predictions. But without further ado, let's get to race 1 at Hockenheim. So, here we are then on the grid then. It's Habsburg on the right of your screens, Kubica on the left, who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of race 1 here at Hockenheim for IFMC GP3. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And it is going for race 1 here at Hockenheim. It's a good start from Kubica. He goes side by side with Habsburg. Down into turn 1 as Kubica got the jump on him into turn 1. And it looks like in fact Rossi's got an even better start. Rossi takes the lead into turn 1. The Willows Racing car leads. Rossi leads, Kubica up into second place. Habsburg's dropped back, as has Newgarden. He's down to 6th. Not a good start from both championship contenders, but I think everybody's got through okay. A good start from Rowland to get into the top 10 now. As everybody seems to be bundled up a little bit, trying to avoid contact, but it is Rossi who leads, and then Habsburg, meantime, going side by side with Kubica again into the first chicane and gets the move done. Up into second place again goes Ferdinand Habsburg in the Auto Jamaica car as he now tries to chase down Alexander Rossi, as Power had a little look there but wasn't able to make the mistake. Newgarden takes 5th, back off Kvyat into the first chicane. Kvyat's also had a good start from 8th on the grid as Rowland's up to 9th at the expense of Hubert. Hubert trying to fend off on Buemi and does a good job to do so. There's some side by side action going down towards the second chicane. App looking to the inside of Kvyat. Kvyat covers him off there as Newgarden looks to the outside of his own teammate into that first chicane. And as everybody, the top 3 close together, Newgarden unable to find a way through on Power into the first chicane there. Kvyat going a tad bit defensive. Down the inside goes Apt. Apt's lost a few places it seems. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow down at the chicane. Has there been some form of contact at the chicane? And oh, it's Aitken. It's Aitken who's gone off. Aitken has gone off at the chicane. What has happened to Jack Aitken in the Willows Racing car? Let's see. So going into the chicane, and whoa, just a little bit clumsy from Jack Aitken there. Just tagged the back of one of the, I think that was an AYP racing car. He tagged the back off. I would presume that's Santina Ferrucci. And Aitken tried to get it moving again, but then damages his front wing. So Aitken is going to have to make a trip to the pits. In fact, no, it was the shadow of Felipe Nasr. I do apologise. And as you can see from Andretti's point of view, yeah, very clumsy there from Aitken. Nasr lucky there. He didn't get collected either. And lucky he didn't collect Buemi with him as well. So Aitken making a clumsy error at that first chicane there. And has dropped down to 22nd and will have to make a trip to the pits. For breaking his front wing there. So not a good start from Jack Aitken, who's so far not had a good weekend here at Hockenheim. And he's able to get it moving again, but he's going to have to tippy-toe now. He's got no downforce at the front. Meantime, teammate Rossi leading the way, but having to fend off from Habsburg, the man who's currently second in the Drivers' Championship, as he tries to get in the slipstream of Alexander Rossi as they come up now towards the right-hander. As up into 4th goes Josef Newgarden, unseen by the cameras. He must have got Power at the chicane. So up to 4th place goes championship leader Josef Newgarden, as it looked like Rossi went defensive into the right-hander there as Habsburg's right on the gearbox of the Willows racing car now. Then as I go around the left-hander now, then for the first time today, coming out of that corner now, then Kubica losing a bit of time now as Newgarden starts to get onto his gearbox as they round the final 2 turns now. Then on the track, Habsburg looking to find a way through on Alexander Rossi's Willows racing car as they go around the final corner then. So at the end of lap 1 of 11 then, here at Hockenheim, it's Rossi who leads, Habsburg in second, Kubica third, Newgarden fourth, Power fifth, Grassi sixth, Buemi up to 7th, and Hubert up to 8th as everybody's trying to find a way through. It's that chicane, and Daniil inside goes Habsburg on Rossi. Has he got the move stuck? And yes, he has. Habsburg leads the race as out goes Daniil Kvyat. What's happened to Kvyat in this race? Where is Kvyat? And whereabouts is Daniil Kvyat's car? And I think we might have missed him. As in fact, there's 3 cars that are missing. There's 1 car there. There's Kvyat. He must have gone off at that right-hander as he smacked it into the wall. But there's 2 other cars missing. I wonder if there's been a pile-up down at that right-hander because 3 other cars have gone missing. Let's see if we can find some on Aitken's point of view as he trundles down through the pits. And well, I can't see any. So 3 cars look to have retired. 2 other cars look to have retired with Kvyat as well. And hopefully they'll come up on the graphic. But Habsburg now takes the lead of the race. And let's see if they come up on the graphic. Kvyat out, Apt is out. That's another guy that's out of the race. So those 3 must have made a pile up. And Rowland is out in his first appearance in GP3. So 3 guys out. Unfortunately, we don't have footage of how the accident occurred at the right-hander. As Rossi's back down the inside of Habsburg. And Rossi retakes the lead from the Austrian. So Rossi back in the lead as now Kubica fancies his chances at Habsburg. And even the championship leader fancies his chances at Newgarden looking to the inside of Kubica. But Kubica's caught onto Habsburg's slipstream. And he's now challenging the Austrian for 2nd place. And he looks to the outside into that second chicane. Aitken into a pair front wing. Habsburg covers him off as Newgarden now dives it down the inside of the pair of them into the chicane. That is a beautiful move from the American. Up into 2nd place goes Josef Newgarden in the Dacia Dorado. And well, that was just brilliant textbook driving from Josef Newgarden, and that's not what Habsburg needs, because at this stage Newgarden will increase the lead in the championship to up to 5 points again, as it was before qualifying. As oh no, Newgarden's got a problem. Newgarden, as I just said, that has got a problem. The championship leader has run into issues. That is the championship leader with suspension failure, just as he took 2nd place from Habsburg and Kubica. Newgarden out of the race, and we're down to 18 runners now. And well, that's that really. That could blow a dent in the championship as a result. Habsburg back up into 2nd place, and if the result remains as it is, Habsburg will lead the Drivers' Championship by 7 points ahead of Newgarden. And well, my oh my oh my, that is that really as far as they are concerned. And in fact, am I correct in that being 7 points? I think I'm wrong on that. In fact, it'll be 5 points Habsburg will lead the championship by if it remains like this. So if it stays like this, Habsburg will lead the championship by 5 points. Maybe 6 points if you can get a fastest lap, but that's currently being held now by Grassi, who set a 1 minute 52.731. So Grassi coming on to the bonus point, the fastest lap of the race. Grassi's in a battle at the moment for 4th place as for 3rd in fact, because Kubica, Power and Grassi fighting out for 3rd place. Buemi into the points, and well, a lot of movements going on. Andretti looking to the inside of Hubert as well, lots of stuff kicking off, it must be said. As look at this now, they're 3 wide into the chicane. Surely they're all not going to make it. Grassi, Kubica and Power go 3 wide into the first chicane, and that's textbook move from Power. How on earth all 3 of them didn't make contact is incredible stuff. Power up to 3rd, Grassi 4th, and Kubica down to 5th place. And now Buemi is in this scrap as well. Nasr trying to get close as well. Buemi in the slipstream with Kubica, who is trying to attack for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. Kubica looking to the outside of Grassi as they come up towards the 2nd chicane. Power now starting to get away from that battle as he tries to chase down the top 2 of Habsburg and Rossi. Habsburg trying to chase down the leader if he can. As going through that first chicane now, then up to 5th place goes Buemi. He gets the move done. Up into 5th place goes Sébastien Buemi. He passes Kubica, and that's that. And now Nasr wants to have a piece of the Polish driver if he can as they go down this long straight towards the bus stop chicane. And wow. As soon Rossi will be starting lap 4 of 11 in this in race 1. Kubica not close enough to try and do a repass on Buemi into that bus stop chicane there, so has to stay behind him at this point. As they go down the straight now, then towards the right-hander. In fact, Kubica trying to get in the slipstream. Buemi's going to look to the inside into the right-hander, which takes him on to the stadium section. Will Kubica have enough to get Buemi into this right-hander? Down the inside he goes. Would he retake fifth from the switch driver? No, he can't. Buemi just able to hang it around the outside and keep on the fifth from the pole. So, still in fifth place is Buemi. A good comeback from him after a tricky qualifying session from him yesterday. So, really good to see from him. Here's Rossi now then about to start lap 4 of 11 here at Hockenheim. As he's got a bit of a gap between himself and so far, if it stays like this, it will be the new championship leader, Ferdinand Habsburg. So let's see what the top two looks like. As now Habsburg sets the fastest lap of 152.179. So he'll be 6 points in front of Newgarden if it stays like this. And as you can see, the gap now, as you can see, is 1 point. I think that's a 1.6 seconds. I think so. That's that as far as that's concerned. As meantime, Antoine Hubert down to 9th, Ferrucci up to 8th as now Andretti tries to chase down Hubert again for 9th. Kari also on the back of that battle for 9th place, as it seems that people are starting to separate themselves out just a little bit. Coming out of the first chicane now then on the track. I'm sorry if you can hear the dog in the background, as now out of the first chicane we go before approaching the second. And well, Habsburg get the move done on Alexander Rossi. And within these next few laps, of course, he's not close enough within the slipstream range to get the American. At this stage, Rossi looking to get his first victory since Jerez last season. So he's looking to try and do that if he can. And so there we have it then, as Kubica looks to try and get back on that prowl for 4th place. To Grassi up in 4th at this stage. Buemi trying to hunt down his Formula E rival from real life. Even though the pair of them are out of the championship fight, it must be said, in real life in Formula E. As now to Grassi into the bus stop chicane now then, currently 4th. As he tries to chase down, out goes Antonio Fuoco. Fuoco out of the race. What has happened to the AYP Racing driver's car? He's all over the back of Andretti, and there it is. It's an engine failure. He's got plumes of smoke coming off the back of his engine. Antonio Fuoco is out of the race, and we're down to 17 runners as a result. So Fuoco done for the day, and that's that for him really. As so Fuoco out, and we're down to 17 runners here in race 1. As meantime, Buemi trying to catch on to De Grassi in front. As there is Kubica trying to get back onto them if they can for P5. And they now go around this left-hander. Let's see now then what the gap is like between the top two. As Habsburg negotiates around these final 2 turns. As he comes out of the final corner and onto the pit straight we go now. Then let's see the gap between Rossi and Habsburg now then as they come towards turn 1. He sets another fastest lap of 152.054. Let's see the gap this time around, and the gap is now 1.3 seconds. So he is gaining onto Rossi, but it's still over a second between them at this stage, as Will Power tries to close up in the hopes of trying to help out teammate Newgarden after his retirement. So he's going to try and catch up to the top 2 if he can, as he's now broke away from that battle for 4th. As he looks to try and maybe get himself into the lead if he can, as Habsburg negotiates out of that second chicane. Meantime, Kubica losing time to Buemi, as Buemi's starting to get up close now to the backside of Lucas Di Grassi, as the pair of them look to fight for 4th place in this race now then, as they come down this back straight now then towards the second chicane. And Buemi trying to pile the pressure on Di Grassi as much as possible here at Hockenheim. As here is Habsburg currently in 2nd place. Aitken trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. Vinio challenging Davidson, it appears, for 15th place. Is unseen by the cameras. Kari up to 10th. He's past Andretti. So up to P10 goes Nico Kari. He now tries to chase down Antoine Hubert for 9th, as Suomi look to still try and get their first point since coming back to the series this season. And so far they're the only team so far yet to score points in GP3. As Habsburg negotiates out of the bus stop chicane, as he tries to pressurise Rossi to try and grab the lead from him, as they go down towards the right-hander on the track. So around the right-hander we go now. Then Habsburg really trying to pile the pressure on Rossi as much as possible as they come up now towards the left-hander. And around the left-hander then goes Habsburg. As he's getting closer now. He definitely had a lot better exit than what Rossi had coming out of that hairpin. And we'll be able to see in a little bit what the gap is like between the pair of them this time by, as they both round the final corner itself to start lap 6 of 11. So 6 laps remaining here for race 1. Let's see what the gap is like between Rossi and Habsburg, as Habsburg sets another fastest lap of 151.770 as they come out of turn 1. Let's see the gap between the top two now then, and it is 0.8 seconds between Rossi and Habsburg. So that's how the gap currently stands at this stage. Meantime, can Buemi try and get a run on Grassi this time by, as they come down the first long straight on the track. Buemi in the slipstream, but not close enough to pull out an overtake on Grassi at this stage. Kubica continuing to lose time, and Nasr trying to close in onto the backside of him if he can, as they all now approach the first chicane. So up towards that first chicane we go. Buemi flicking the car in through that corner now then on the track. As meantime now then, Habsburg trying to get a run on Rossi if he can, as they will now approach the second chicane. And let's see now then what he can do. Up towards that second chicane will go Ferdinand Habsburg, as he comes out of that second chicane. Around the right-hander he will go, as he will go down the straight towards the bus stop chicane. And Habsburg trying everything in his power to go and get the lead from Alexander Rossi at this stage now then, as he will soon approach the bus stop chicane. And through the left, right and left-hander we will go, as Habsburg heads down this back straight before approaching the right-hander. And will Habsburg try and get the move done on the man in front, which is Rossi. And again, not close enough this time by, as meantime Buemi's still not up to the backside yet of Lucas Di Grassi's American engineering car, as they feed their cars around the right-hander. Kubica continuing to lose time in that battle for fourth at this stage, and Buemi doing whatever it takes to get hold of his Formula E rival from real life. And they were former teammates, of course, in GP3 last season when they were part of Trinity Racing. But, of course, only Trinity Racing moved to GP2 this season, so they both had to find employment. But when he found a job at Kennystar Motorsport, and Grassi didn't even think he'd be on the grid until last minute, of course, when Monster pulled out. Status Monster pull out, and American Engineering came in, run by Alan Cavey, and Grassi was given a lifeline as a result, and partnered alongside his Formula E teammate in real life, Daniil. So that's that really. Meantime, Habsburg, we didn't see what the gap is like that time around, but again, not close enough to get Rossi down this straight at this point, as we have 5 laps to go here in race 1 here at Hockenheim. And Rossi's got to do everything he can to try and get his first victory of the season, and his first since last season at Jerez in race 2 that was. And coming out of that first chicane we go. Habsburg trying to pile the pressure on Rossi as much as possible as they come down the second long straight. Again, Habsburg not close enough. If he's able to get good enough traction coming out of the second chicane, he could try and get a run on him on towards that bus stop chicane. So up towards the first chicane we go on the track, as they round the section of corners now then. Habsburg trying to get back on Rossi for the second time today as they come out of that first chicane. Will Habsburg try and get a run on Rossi down towards the bus stop chicane? Power a little bit behind, looking for any opportunity to pass upon in case any of these two decide to make contact with each other as they come down the straight. And again, Habsburg not close enough to get Rossi into that bus stop, but could be in prime position next lap to try and attack, or maybe he could even try and get him if he's able to get a good exit out of this bus stop to try and get him into this right-hander. It is possible. We saw it earlier on in GP2, possible to pass around this right-hander if you're able to get alongside enough in time. But as you can see, Habsburg not close enough, and stays behind Rossi into the 6th to last corner there then, as they're now onto the stadium section. Habsburg though not giving up on Rossi at this stage, and could be in prime position now on the next lap to try and get Rossi for the lead. Maybe even try again at turn 1 like he did earlier, but you'll have to be aware that Rossi might try and get him back into the first chicane like he did earlier when Habsburg passed him first time by. Up towards the final corner then we go, and onto the pit straight. Will Habsburg get Rossi this time as we cross the line to have 4 laps remaining in this race? Start of lap 8. Rossi goes defensive. Habsburg though is going to do a dummy down the inside. Will Habsburg get the move done as Power takes the fastest lap away from Habsburg, but Rossi able to hang in around the outside, but he's got a tad wide. Will Habsburg try and take advantage? Habsburg forced him into a mistake as Power sets the fastest lap, so it'll only be 5 points unless Habsburg can find a way through to make it 7 points, as side by side go Habsburg and Rossi down this long straight towards the first chicane. It looks like Habsburg might have the edge into the first chicane. Power looking for any opportunity to pounce upon in that Dacia Eldorado as they come down towards the first chicane, and he does it. Habsburg leads race 1 here at Hockenheim. He retakes the lead from Alexander Rossi, but Rossi not giving up as they will approach the second chicane. Rossi looking to try and get him back into that second chicane. Habsburg's work not quite done yet. Rossi looking to the outside of Ferdinand Habsburg, down into the second chicane as they go side by side into that chicane. Again, Power looking for any opportunity to pounce upon. Habsburg blocks him off there to keep on the lead, but Rossi starts a run and could try and get him back into the bus stop chicane to the race. The victory might not be over yet for Rossi as they come down this long straight towards the bus stop. Will Rossi try and get a run on Habsburg into the bus stop chicane? He's trying to get up close to the Austrian's Auto Jamaica car. I don't think he's going to be close enough to get him, but he's still in the slipstream. Having saying that, he's going to try and dive it down the inside of the chicane, but Habsburg covers him off, and Rossi loses momentum and time now to Ferdinand Habsburg, and now possibly has lost the lead of this race, and now Power trying to chase him down for second place if he can. So as a result, if it stays like this, because Power is now holding on to the fastest lap, if it stays like this, Habsburg will lead the championship by 7 points ahead of Josef Newgarden, thanks to his retirement from suspension failure. So if he stays like this, Habsburg will lead the championship by 7 points. If he can get a fastest lap, it will actually be 8 points. But we will wait and see as Habsburg rounds these final 2 turns now then. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Ferdinand Habsburg, and he's about to start lap 9 of 11 then here at Hockenheim. So 3 laps remaining for Ferdinand Habsburg, and he comes round turn 1. He didn't set the fastest lap that time around. Power still holding it. Meantime, Power, speaking of which, is starting to get right onto the gearbox of Alexander Rossi. He looks to try and take second from the Willows racing car now then as I come down the pitch, down this long straight now then, and Power looking to pounce on Rossi and look to try and help his teammate and try and catch up to Habsburg if he's able to get Rossi in time and get Habsburg in time to try and get his second victory of the season. And as you can see now, up towards the first chicane now then, Will Power looks to have got better traction than Rossi coming out of that first chicane. Habsburg still within touching distance from these two as they go down this straight now then, as it looks like Grassi's got away a bit from Buemi. Buemi just hasn't got enough to respond at this stage. Meantime, Nasr having to fend off from Ferrucci right onto him at the moment. Heifeld up into 11th. Good recovery for him after only qualifying 20th yesterday in qualifying. And Power thought for a minute there he was having a little go, but he's right on the gearbox now of Rossi and could try and get a run on him down the long straight, which will take him towards the bus stop chicane. Down the straight we go. Power in prime position to get Rossi for second place. He's in the slipstream of the American. He tucks up into his slipstream now, then he's going to look to the inside. Will Power get the move done on Rossi into the bus stop chicane? Down the inside goes the Australian. Has Power done enough? The 2018 Indy 500 winner, and he does so. Up into second place goes Will Power in the Dacia Eldorado, and down to third goes Rossi. No! Habsburg's got a problem! Both championship contenders have got issues. Habsburg has an oil leak. Will Power leads race 1 here at Hockenheim. And Robert Ionescu, the team boss of Dacia Eldorado, is in euphoria at the moment. Power leads the race as Habsburg blows up in the Auto Jamaica car. Newgarden will keep hold of the lead of the Drivers' Championship. As a result, what a shame for Ferdinand Habsburg. He was looking so strong to take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. It's going to put Grassi on the podium, or maybe even Buemi, because Habsburg's fiery oil has basically blocked off Grassi, and now Buemi's in clutches of him as Habsburg pulls off and he's out of the race. I think he'll be classified anyway because he has done 90% of the race distance, but Habsburg out. Newgarden will hold on to the lead in the Drivers' Championship. The gap still remaining 3 points between them, with Newgarden still leading the Drivers' Championship. Meantime, now they look at this battle for third going on. Buemi now then look at the inside of Lucas Di Grassi as they go side by side, but Di Grassi covers him off to keep hold of third place there. Sorry if you heard my voice break after Habsburg retired. But now down towards the first chicane, and Buemi trying everything he can to get third from Di Grassi in these remaining laps. But Power now finds himself leading the race as a result of Habsburg's retirement, as Buemi tries to look to the outside of Di Grassi in towards that first chicane. Who does that put in the points then? As a result, it puts Hubert into the points, so we're looking at a potential double points finish for KR Racing if it stays like this, with Kubica fifth as well. So that's that really. Ferrucci looking good for some more points for AYP, 2 points, and Nasr looking good to get Shadow some more points at this stage. Buemi wasn't able to get Grassi into that second chicane now then as he tucks up into the slipstream, looks to the inside of Grassi. Will he be able to pull this one off as he goes side by side into the bus-stop chicane now then? Will Buemi get the move done on Lucas Di Grassi as they approach the bus-stop now then? Danny inside, and he does it. Buemi up into 3rd place. He gets onto the podium, and Buemi up onto the final podium place. Di Grassi loses 4th place as a result, and could, if he's not careful, fall into the clutches of Robert Kubica with 1 and a bit laps remaining. So that could be a tasty battle at that stage of the race. So keep an eye on that one then. But meantime, here is Will Power coming up towards the final 4 corners on the track in the Dacia Eldorado Junior as he comes around the final 2 turns, around the final corner, and Will Power is about to start his final lap here at Hockenheim, and it's going to be, just like with Russell earlier, a very lucky victory for the Australian. He started in 5th place, was able to get in a lot of places at the start, and obviously got onto the podium after his teammate retired. His task at that point was to try and help his teammate. He passed Rossi with 3 laps to go, and with a whole lot of luck, Habsburg suffered from an oil leak and was able to get the lead, so he didn't really need to help Newgarden in trying to grab the lead from Habsburg. But if he could just keep this up, he's looking good to get his 2nd victory of the season, and I think Eldorado's 4th of the season as well, because I think Newgarden's also got 2 victories this season as well. And Power, this will do him nicely in his sort of battles he's got going on in the Drivers' Championship. Rossi looking good for 2nd place at this stage, and Buemi looking good for the final points place. He's now left to Grassi for dust. Kubica, if he's able to get a good enough traction coming out of either this chicane or the bus-up chicane, he could have him. He's probably only got 2 chances to get him now then. He'll have to be late on the brakes if he wants to get him at this stage. Same with Ferrucci if he wants to grab 6th from Felipe Nasr in this race now then. So let's see now the Kubica and Grassi round off out of the first chicane there then, as they come down the straight towards the bus-stop chicane. Kubica not close enough, and I don't think he'll have enough traction to get Grassi coming out of the bus-stop, so I think Grassi's done enough to hold on to 4th place in this race now then, as they just negotiate round the bus-stop chicane now then on the track. And yeah, not close enough. Grassi I think's done enough for 4th, and in terms of Nasr and Ferrucci, Nasr I think has done enough to hold on to P6 here for race 1 here at Hockenheim in Germany. But in the meantime, here is Will Power, who's just coming around the final few turns now then, and he's just pretty much picked up the pieces after Ferdinand Habsburg's oil leak. He's coming around the final 2 turns, and after a whole lot of luck, he comes around the final corner, and it is going to be Will Power who wins race 1 here at Hockenheim. Congratulations to him and the Dacia Eldorado Junior team. It's his 2nd victory of the season, and that will do him nicely indeed in his battles for the championship. Rossi finishes in 2nd, Buemi finishes in 3rd, Di Grassi 4th, Kubica 5th, Nasr 6th, Ferrucci finishes in 7th, Hubert finishes in 8th to get his 1st points of the season, and on top of that, he'll take pole for race 2 tomorrow. Andretti crosses the line in 9th, Heifeld, he's going to cross the line in 10th for Kennystar Motorsport, so 10th place after only qualifying in 20th for Nick Heifeld. Elation finishes in 11th, Vinio finishes 12th, Davidson will cross the line in 13th, Kaiser will cross the line 14th in the Horizon Motorsport car. It's going to be Kari who's going to cross the line in 15th position, so he's gone way off the radar. He was up in the top 10 a little earlier, but I'm going to guess he made a mistake somewhere. So 15th for Nico Kari, and just a little bit later we'll see Jack Aitken cross the line in 16th after he clumsily made that mistake, making contact with Nasr and spinning himself off and losing his front wing in the process. So I wonder if he'll be having words with team boss Josef Willows after the race, because that was a little bit of a clumsy error there from the British Korean of Jack Aitken. He comes around the final 2 turns. Around the final corner he goes, and Aitken is going to cross the line in 16th position. He'll be the last of the finishers. I think Habsburg will be classified. I think he did 90% of the race distance, so he'll be classified in 17th. But there you have it, guys. That has been it. In the end, Will Power is the winner here of race 1 at Hockenheim. A fantastic victory for Power, and well, A whole lot of luck went his way there, but some good luck as well, and I think Robert Ionescu will be happy about that one. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of race 1 here at Hockenheim. Will Power won the race with Alexander Rossi in 2nd, Sebastian Buemi finished in 3rd, with Lucas Di Grassi 4th, Robert Kubica 5th, Felipe Nasr in 6th, Santino Ferrucci 7th, Antonio Bear in 8th, with Marco Andretti 9th, Nick Heifeld 10th, Michael Lation 11th, with Iravinio in 12th, Anthony Davidson 13th, Kyle Kaiser in 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, Nico Kari was 15th, with Jack Aitken, the last of the finishers, in 16th. So Ferdinand Habsburg wasn't classified. So the 6 retirements were Ferdinand Habsburg, Antonio Fawako, Josef Newgarden, Daniil Kvyat, Oliver Rowland, and Daniil Abt. They were the retirements of the race. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race, and who's going away with the bonus point. And it was Will Power with a 1 minute 51.721. So along with the 10 points he got for victory, he's also going to go away with the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was 400 quicker than Ferdinand Habsburg in the end there then. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for GP3 today. They'll be back tomorrow for race 2. And that has been it for today's live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. The podium for GP3 is coming away just after this. But anyway, guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, tomorrow at a later time at 2:30 PM BST due to the MotoGP race at Mugello for race 2 of IFMC GP3, the sprint race for IFMC GP2, and the 45-lap German Grand Prix. So hopefully you can join us in for that tomorrow. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final bits of action of this weekend's IFMC. Until then, take care and enjoy the GP3 podium.